I've been overcome by unspeakable grief at the slaughter of innocent Americans in Orlando. My heart and soul has been torn for the pain our nation suffers at the sheer horror of this inhuman act of terror, for the families and loved ones of the victims, for the spirits of the first responders, and for the indescribable sorrow of the people of Orlando. We, as a nation, will be haunted by the massacre, the slaughter of Americans that can only be seen as an act of war against us all. We, the people, have not sought this conflict, yet it's well past time for all Americans to embrace the truth. Our nation is at war with Islamic terror, the foreign horror that oppresses millions and intends to convert, kill, or enslave the entire world. These radical jihadists are cowards to their very core, preying upon the innocent, the soft, the unarmed. And they've entered our great nation with the full clearance and blessing of our so-called leaders. The elitist few, their lust for power and money, has restrained American patriots, restricted American resolve, weakened the American military, depressed the American spirit, divided the American people, and betrayed the American trust. We must destroy our enemy, not restrict them, not appease them or contain them, not hit them with our purse. We must identify them, hunt them down, and kill them. We must dismantle their regimes, eviscerate their infrastructure, and destroy the jihadist training camps of every radical Islamic faction. I call on Congress, the executive branch, and local jurisdictional authorities within the parameters of established law and constitutional principles to identify, investigate, and monitor every single mosque which preaches jihad and the hateful, cowardly murder of innocents. I call on Congress to restrict every American dollar from any nation state which allows or encourages the unbridled oppression of women, the systematic murder of gays, the socially accepted rape of young girls, and the beheading of Christians and Jews. No country anywhere who persecutes their citizenry in such a barbaric manner should receive one penny of American treasure. To the true American Islamic patriots who surely exist, please listen to my words and feel my spirit. I would give my own life to defend your right as an American citizen to worship as you see fit. And I recognize that you too surely must be horrified by the slaughter of innocents in Orlando. But seek thine own heart for penance, for you're partially responsible for allowing this radical horror to exist within the borders of the country you've adopted and come to love. Your resistance to the despicable movement of terror within your own religion has been notably absent. We all reap then what ye hath allowed sown. To my more liberal friends, true Americans whom I know and admire, whose own soul is wrenched by the nightmare of gun violence in America, and who react, no doubt, out of love for their fellow man when they speak loudly against guns, I ask that you research beyond the control of the liberal media and reassess your position against guns. America certainly suffers from gun violence, but access to guns has been far greater through our history. It wasn't until the 60s that guns were regulated at all. Throughout our history, prior to just 50 years ago, a child could purchase a gun from any seller if daddy sent him with the money. Gun-free zones are always a target of terrorists and criminals. The club in Orlando was a gun-free zone. France has some of the most restrictive gun laws in the Western world. Yet surely you recall the mass shooting terrorist attack there that left 130 dead and another 368 injured. Illinois laws almost completely eliminate Second Amendment rights, yet Chicago suffers one of the highest murder rates in the entire free world. Nearly 200 have been murdered and hundreds more injured in almost 1,000 reported shootings this year in Chicago, a city where legal gun ownership is next to impossible. The radical Islamic world teaches young children by the tens of thousands how to manufacture homemade explosive vests. I'm SWAT. My SWAT brothers don't fear guns in the hands of terrorists. It was the alleged presence of bombs inside that club that delayed resolution and cost lives. Yes, we must take measures to address who can legally buy a gun in America. The historic failure of our nation to properly handle the challenge of mental illness is a national disgrace. But my friends, restricting the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding Americans will not stop killings in our country. And please, stop talking about hunting. It's intellectually unsound to do so. The Second Amendment is not about hunting. Read your Constitution. It's about maintaining armed might amongst a well-regulated militia, whereby we may stand as the final resolve of American freedom should our federal government become militarily oppressive against the sovereign states. American resolve will not fade. Our nation will not go quietly into that good night. Our elections in November will witness the voice of America sounded as thunder around the world. We will not allow the most despicable and cowardly evil the pits of hell have ever devised to destroy us. We will not be defeated by enemies foreign nor domestic. We are an America united. We are one.